Do you need 35-inch tyres to go off-road and explore Australia? No. Why? We'll find out in this episode of Built Prado. Take it from me, as someone who's had 35-inch tyres on the car for over 2 years, don't do it. Don't waste your fuel, don't waste your time. Okay, look, let's get straight to the facts. For day-to-day use, a 32-inch tyre like this one here, which happens to be in mud terrain, which probably isn't the best example, is fine for everyday use and will still do decent off-road. But a 35-inch tyre here on my right, absolute animal, weighs so much more than this guy, but also a lot more capable. But what is it doing to your drive terrain and transfer case and gearbox and everything? Lots of bad things. So with this car, with the stock driveline, no upgrades have been done to it. When I have 35s on it, it does go pretty slow up hills, and the wear and tear is quite shocking, and over time it won't last very long. Whereas right now I've got the little 32s on, and they're an absolute dream. You can go up hills, can overtake at 110 k's an hour uphill, which is really impressive considering rooftop turn on the roof and how much power this car doesn't have. But I've got to say, when it comes to sand, these are the good option. These are quick, they're fast to do the job, and I don't feel like I'm wrecking the car. Whereas when I have these on, yes, they look great, and in mud holes they are really capable, but the noise from the aggressive mud terrain and the wear and tear on the drivetrain is not really worth it, and not to mention the cost of fuel. Okay, so when you're checking the width of tyres, obviously you don't need a tape measure because it says it on there, okay? So these are 315mm wide, the other one's a 265 wide. Now, that's a very common tyre size, the 265, which is on pretty much every four-wheel drive, okay? If not a little bit smaller, like a 31. Now 35's 315 wide, got that extra, 50mm wide. Off-road it does make a huge difference, but also you got 50 more mil of tread on the road, dragging on the asphalt. That's gonna put your fuel prices up, okay? And obviously the physical diameter of the tyre is a lot bigger as well, so you need more power to turn more wheels. So all in all, it's more fuel, more expensive to buy, running costs are more expensive, the damage to your drivetrain and longevity of the car will be shortened. So there really isn't much use, especially for a day-to-day, to have these big boys on, as we should know. So you're probably thinking, Matt, why do you have it here? Good question. So what I'm doing now is something I never thought I'd do, is day-to-day driving to work, have the 32s on, decent sized tyre, can still do some stuff off-road and on the beach. And I've proven that as well. Got some videos of it going through mud holes and stuff, just fine. And then when it comes to those weekend warrior moments, or maybe a full drive show, I can put these big bad boys on and it'll still be able to fit within the suspension I have for this car, and then I can get the off-road use I need just to go over those, if we're doing a big mud day or something, I'll probably put these on, okay? But when it comes to those long touring trips, I might end up having those on, we'll see. But I've got to say though, obviously if you're full driving every single weekend, these are probably for you. But if you're doing it, I would say honestly, like half the year, maybe just in summer you're going full driving, I'd have them on. Because a lot of people do have winter and summer tyres, okay? So it's probably obvious, but 35s honestly aren't worth it. I really don't think that's important. It's more about the fuel economy and just trying to get to your campsite, which is great for those tyres over there. If your car's more modern four-wheel drive, unlike this one that's like 26 years old, running bigger tyres like 35s probably won't be that big of an issue. If you've got, let's say, a Ford Ranger or D-Max and you've got the big tyres on it with your lift and stuff, it's going to be diesel, you're going to be getting better fuel per 100 anyways, the sound deadener inside will be better. Whereas this is an old Toyota, over 25 years old, running big 35s on it, even though it's got sound deadener in it, it is a bit slow and sluggish, and the power and torque in this compared to a modern four-wheel drive isn't there. So when you put them on big old cars like this, it does get a bit dreary and quite annoying and slow driving in hills. But if you have a more modern four-wheel drive, it probably wouldn't be too bad putting the big 35s on. And then there's also little things like if you're towing trailers for work daily, do you need 35s on your trailer? Because otherwise your trailer's just going to be like this. I've towed before with 35s, other trailers, and yeah, the trailer just struggles. It's not high enough, okay? So that's also another consideration if you think of it that way. Okay guys, fuel consumption. The main reason you clicked on this video, 35s versus a 32-inch tyre on a Prado 90 series with all the mods, okay? Now keep in mind, this is a petrol 90 series, and it's full-time four-wheel drive, so it does use probably a little bit more fuel, okay? But with 35-inch tyres, 3 of us going to Fraser Island, highway kilometres, averaging 110 kilometres an hour, we're getting about 23 litres per 100. Now that is disgusting, okay? I know some of your petrol 80 series owners will be getting close to that, but that is terrible, okay? Granted, it was fully loaded, probably over the GVM, 3 guys with over a week's worth of camping stuff in there, okay? So it was pretty hectic, but we're averaging 23 litres per 100 on the 35s. Now, with 32s on, driving around town and on the country roads as well, I'm averaging between 16 and 18 litres per 100, okay? Now that's with all these mods on, 3-inch lift and all that stuff, okay? Because a stock Prado does about 13 to 14 litres per 100, okay? So already we're saving plenty of litres per 100, like, you know, we're talking, you know, 7 litres almost. It's actually disgusting. I don't want to talk about it, okay? It's that bad. But we are literally saving, you know, easily 5 litres per 100. So there's the facts right in front of you. Imagine that over your fuel tank, how much money you're going to save per year. You know, you're talking thousands of dollars, which is a set of tyres. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, very expensive to run your car with 35s. I did it for 2 years, and yes, I was slow on hills. Yes, it was really capable when it came to off-roading, but in hindsight, I should have been able to have a second pair of like 31s and then just swap them out when I need. Now, I will say I did actually buy a trolley jack from Total Tools, 220 bucks. It's a full drive one, and it's the cheapest one you could get, and it works really well. My mate has one and I loved it, and I'm going to be using that from now on. So now I can run these during the week, and then when it's a weekend moment or show or anything like that, I can quickly lift half the car up at once, do 2 tyres at once, so much quicker than a bottle jack. Yeah, I'm actually enjoying working on the car now. Honestly, did not realise how much better a trolley jack would be to work on. So can highly recommend, if you want to do 2 sets of tyres, or maybe for summer and winter, and you want to save hours of labour, get a trolley jack, okay? Otherwise a hoist, but get a trolley jack, more affordable. Look guys, that's today's episode. A little bit of a rant about how 35s aren't the way to go, in my opinion. Obviously if you're full driving all the time, that's fine, but financially and the money you're going to be wasting on fuel, it doesn't really make much sense. I've learned my mistakes, and I'll probably do a compromise and go 33s, which is what the most common full drive tyre ever. So you can really see why it pays to, you know, not go over the top, but not 31s either, okay? Because you're on that compromise. But to be fair though, the cornering the 35s on was a bit better. It could handle its weight better with the wider tread, but that in hindsight wasn't worth the, you know, 7 litres more it's doing and all the money. So you can just take the corner a bit slower. But that's my opinion. Hopefully that helps you buy some tyres if you're in the market at the moment, and maybe you have a Prado 90 and you're like, oh, do I get 33s, 35s, 31s? Hopefully that helps you out. My experience from having 35s and 32s, I'd say 32 is probably a better option. And when it comes to off-road, you know, for the most off-roading you're doing, the difference isn't that much, but for the very serious stuff, you probably will tell a big difference with the big tyres. But that's my opinion, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something. Have any questions about anything, let me know on my Instagram or my YouTube. And yeah, until then, I'll catch you guys next time on Built Prado.